Welcome to the 2018 County Council meeting. Mr. Heckman will lead us. Honorable. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Your Honor. You're welcome. We have the roll call, please.
Mr. Brown.
Here.
Mr. Kuzic.
Present.
Mr. Giovanni.
Here.
Mr. Gofredo.
Here.
Mr. Heckman.
Here.
Mr. Lott.
Here.
Mr. Myers.
Here.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Here.
Ms. Zirinsky. Here. All present.
I have a motion to approve the minutes from May 4th.
Motion.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There is no courtesy of the floor, so we'll skip right past that.
We have to ask if there is anybody.
Is there anybody that wants to speak at this point? If not, Mr. Executive.
Good evening, Mr. President.
Good evening, sir.
Honorable members of the County Council. We are having an election, and I say we are having our election because we only have unofficial results, and I think it's always important for us to communicate that we have unofficial results. And of course, we had many races across the county that had write-ins. So those don't start to be reviewed by the canvass board until tomorrow. So we still have an election process going on. Thus far, I can report there were minimal issues on Election Day, and it went very smoothly, and our mail-ins went very smoothly, and probably due to the fact that there weren't that many of them vis-a-vis a presidential election. But at this juncture, our election is going fine. Are there any questions about that? Okay. I have Mr. Q, sometimes, this might surprise you, sometimes I have some difficulty trying to determine what rises to the level of being worthy of a report to County Council from the executive. But I didn't tonight because Mr. Kuzic asked some good questions last night. And it prompted me to say, okay, well, these will be excellent things to report to County Council tonight. And he asked about the future of the hydroelectric project. Very good and important question. And I wanted to make an announcement tonight. As you know, on the Forensic Center, we have solar panels, which the sun provides almost all of the electricity we use at the Forensic Center. And as you also may intuit, a Forensic Center takes a lot of energy. Especially, it draws so much power for some of its fundamental work there. But we have received a grant from the federal government in the amount of $264,000 that is going to allow us to put solar panels on our archives building. Nice. And unlike the Forensic Center, which uses a tremendous amount of electricity, our solar panels, we believe, will cover our electricity for the operation of the archives, and we'll be able to sell the excess back. So, you know, when we say our future is green, it means a lot of different things. And in this case, it means we're going to have solar panels on our archives building. Again, question Mr. Kuzic had last night about West Easton. Good question. What's going on there? And as Mr. Barron pointed out, things have continued to happen there. Training happens there. The Sheriff's Department training happens there with our new corrections officers. But I'm here to announce tonight that West Easton will be open next week. One of the reasons it hasn't been opened till now is we closed it because of COVID. And we thought around the time of the ending of the national COVID emergency, it would be a good opportunity to reopen the West Easton work release facility. So that's what we're going to be doing. Some of the delays in getting it open, the timing of the lifting of the national COVID emergency, but also we're going to make some improvements down there, including we're going to get a new scanner so that when folks come back in, they'll be scanned with the same technology that they're scanned with to come into the main prison. And that will make everybody safer. And so that's what we're working on right now. More news. and I don't want to step on the headline, we have an arbitration date for our youth care worker arbitration, and that commences on June 29th. So we'll have sometime this summer an answer to that contract. With respect to the youth care workers and some of the changes that the Juvenile Justice Center Administration has been proposing, we are, in the context of the collective bargaining agreement, going to attempt in arm's length negotiations to get to where the Juvenile Justice Center Administration believes it needs to be with respect to creating those new positions out of some of those current positions. But we need to negotiate that. How we do that will be a matter for our team to determine, because we are now in a position where we're going to arbitration with the current position control, if you will, the current jobs, the current people who hold those jobs. And we aren't sure whether the negotiations should take place in advance of this arbitration or after the arbitration, so that we know where the current positions will fall out with respect to what they're being paid. So then that we can talk about what that next level of supervisor can be paid in an arm's length negotiation. And that's all I have tonight. Mr. Heckman.
The archive building for the solar panels.
Yes.
I know they're very heavy. Are we going to have to do any structural enhancements to the archive building? I know it's an old whole building.
Mr. O'Mealy is investigating that, and we do not think so.
Oh.
But he will make sure of that.
Yes. You don't want the roof over now.
No.
While we're on the subject, you said the solar panels handle all the electrical needs of the forensic. Is that included?
It does not. It comes up a little short.
Thank you.
I mean, the power, the load is huge there, for obvious reasons.
Mr. Cusack?
Just to follow up.
Sure.
Will this be bid out for the work?
Yes,
Thank you.
I think it has to be.
Anyone else have any questions for the executive? Thank you, Mr.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Varney, you have to.
I'd like to make a motion at this time for council to enter into an executive session for purposes of discussion
You gotta have a topic.
of potential litigation.
That's the topic.
Okay. You need a motion?
Second.
Yep.
Ms. Fargo Hefner,
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni,
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic,
No.
Mr. Gofredo,
Yes.
Mr. Heckman,
Sure, yes.
Mr. Lott. Yes. Mr. Myers,
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky,
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Motion passes by vote of 8-1.
No notes, please.
Yep, got you.
What if we all
We're not going to litigate my call. Electric.
Yeah. Facial is. It's not real. It's facial.
It's like when somebody says, I know you, I like, keep it going. Yeah, no, I realize what it was. But these are the things that, listen, we just have to know. So, I mean, all right, but Amy, they were coming to this. One, I'm a liar. Two, I can living would be one. It's always a thing. Wasn't hard. Jason passed me, called me for some reason. So yeah, Dave, we pulled it off to the side of the road. Busted it. Usually after this happens, with the exceptions, you know, there's always something. Yeah. It's not real easy to see.
So you did the free trial? You did the free trial?
No action was taken. Got it? Yep. Okay, good. Please, maybe I have to rub your head a little bit or something.
Okay, that was fun.
Say what time he came back? No action was taken.
Okay, we entered the executive session at 6:38, and we are returning at 6:50, and no action was taken. We will go to old business at this point. Public hearing on the ordinance entitled, an ordinance amending the 2023 Northampton County Budget Department, Community Economic Development, EPA, Brownfields, Home Repair Department, Fiscal Affairs, APR Local Assistance Department, and Administration Hazard Mitigation. Ms. Zirinsky and Mr. Giovanni co-sponsored this ordinance. Are there any questions? Discussion? If not, call for the vote.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Public hearing on the ordinance entitled Ordinance by Northampton County Council authorizing the County of Northampton, Eastern Pennsylvania to lease property located identified as parcel K3-11-15-0516 located at Cherryville Road, Lehigh Township, Northampton County, Pennsylvania. Ms. Varga Hefner and Ms. Zirinsky introduced this ordinance on May 24, 2023 meeting. Do we have any questions or comments? Discussion? Call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Does anyone else have any other old business? If not, we'll move on to new business. Ordinance, an introduction of ordinance entitled an ordinance amending Northampton County Administrative Code Article 17, Standard of Ethical Conduct.
I'd like to make a motion to table this at this time. We discussed this in the Governance Committee prior to this meeting, and there were several amendments that were proposed. So in the spirit of having it really ready to go when we introduce it, I'd like to suggest that we table it at this time.
Is there a second on that motion?
Second.
Okay, we have Ms. Varga Hefner. You can have Mr. Brown and Ms. Zirinsky as a second. We'll move on. Oh, call for the vote, I'm sorry.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 9-0.
Consideration of a county exec's appointment, reappointment resolution, Drug Alcohol Advisory Board, Farmland Preservation. Ms. Varga Hefner, would you read the resolution, please?
Resolved by the Northampton County Council that the following individuals shall be confirmed in their appointments, reappointments as indicated hereafter. Drug and Alcohol Advisory Board, appointment Alma J. Carton, Bath, Pennsylvania, term to expire 6/30/25. Farmland Preservation Board reappointments, Robert Dorr, Easton, Pennsylvania, and Terry Cromer, Easton, Pennsylvania, terms to expire 6/30/26. This was discussed at Personnel yesterday.
Anybody else have anything to talk about? Discussion? Call for the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Consideration of personnel request resolution, Department of Corrections, Maintenance HVAC Mechanic Corrections Supervisor. Ms. Varga Hefner, would you read the resolution, please?
It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that the one full-time position of corrections class, wait, am I doing the wrong one?
HVAC, right?
Sorry.
HVAC.
You got it.
You got it.
Oh, okay. Corrections Classification Specialist Pay Grade RUGR-23, salary $46,286 shall be eliminated in the Department of Corrections. It is further resolved by the Northampton County Council that the one full-time position of Corrections Maintenance HVAC Mechanic Pay Grade RUGR-22, salary $44,204 shall be created in the Department of Corrections.
Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Corrections Supervisor, Ms. Varga Hefner, will you introduce that resolution, please?
It is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that the two full-time positions of Corrections Supervisor Lieutenant, pay grade CSGR-25, salary $114,162, shall be eliminated in the Department of Corrections. It is further resolved by the Northampton County Council that the two full-time positions of Corrections Supervisor Sergeant, pay grade CSGR-24, salary $109,024 shall be created in the Department of Corrections. Also discussed yesterday at Personnel.
Anybody else? Call for the vote, please.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky. Yes. Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo?
Yes.
Mr. Heckman? Mr. Lot?
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Consideration of a memorandum of understanding and personnel request resolution, Department of Public Works Operations and Maintenance Division. Ms. Varya Hefner, would you please read that one?
Okay. On May 10th, 2023, County Council received a memorandum of understanding with the amendments to the contract between Northampton County and the ASME District Council 88, Local 1265. Whereas on May 10th, 2023, County Council received a request to eliminate one full-time position of Graysdale Maintenance Mechanic, pay grade RU-GR 20, salary $40,316, and to create one full-time position of Graysdale HVAC R Technician 1, pay grade RU-GR 22, salary $44,204 in the Department of Public Works Operations and Maintenance Division. Now, therefore, it is hereby resolved by Northampton County Council that the attached memorandum of understanding and the elimination and creation of positions shall be approved this 18th day of May 2023.
Discussion? Call for the vote?
Ms. Fargo Hefner?
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky? Yes. Mr. Brown? Mr. Kuzic?
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni?
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo?
Yes.
Mr. Heckman?
Yes.
Mr. Lot?
Yes.
Mr. Myers?
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Consideration of personnel request resolution, Department of Court Administration. Ms. Varya Hefner.
It is hereby resolved that the Northampton County Council, by the Northampton County Council, that 15 full-time positions of youth care worker, pay grade YC-18-1A, salary of $34,243, for a total of $513,645 shall be eliminated in the Department of Court Administration Juvenile Justice Center effective May 19, 2023. It is hereby resolved by the Northampton County Council that 5 part-time positions of youth care worker, pay grade YC-18-1A, salary $17,122 for a total of $85,607 shall be eliminated in the Department of Court Administration Juvenile Justice Center effective May 19, 2023. It is further resolved by the Northampton County Council that 13 full-time positions of Assistant Supervisor, pay grade CS 22 1A, salary $49,721, totaling $646,373 shall be created in the Department of Court Administration Juvenile Justice Center effective May 19, 2023.
Any discussion on that? Call for vote.
Wait a second, do we have
Discussion.
Discussion. Go ahead. I asked for discussion. Mr.
I'm going to make a motion to table this.
I'm going to second that motion.
Call for the vote.
Mr. Lot?
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky? Yes. Mr. Gofredo?
No.
Mr. Heckman?
No.
Mr. Myers?
No.
Ms. Fargo Hefner?
No.
Mr. Brown?
No.
Mr. Kuzic?
No.
Mr. Giovanni?
No.
Motion fails by a vote of 2-7.
Can we call the vote now on the resolution?
No, I think you could still have
It's the
discussion.
discussions part?
Yeah, I voted no because, I mean, we had a long meeting. We had a long meeting, and I'd like to hear, you know, what your objections are. No, I mean, let's discuss it.
Okay.
In the committee, we had a long meeting.
Sure, I can go first. We've heard a lot about we've not been responsive to the juvenile justice system, when the reality is we've approved everything that has come before us from them. There is a shortage down there. There was an article probably 2 years ago or so now, about problems with the management in there. There was also disgruntled workers in that article. When I asked Mr. Green about that, he said that was all lies. So the reason I bring this up is I've heard from Mr. Green every time he comes here, a distaste for the union. And he's tried to put it on the union as his problems. when the reality is, we also hear that this is a state issue, nonstop, and without a doubt, it's a state issue. And it's a wage issue. I agree. And something must be done down there. I agree with that. But I heard last night watching a video that, time is of the essence, that we can't sit down and try to negotiate with the union about these positions, that we can't do what we normally do as a county when we change positions, because time is of the essence. Except for when this was brought up last month, Mr. Green pulled it. He had a month to make sure he was getting rid of the union with these supervision positions. So it was all right for him to take a month to make sure he was knocking out the union, but it's not all right for us to take a month to negotiate with the union. It's not a one-way street in government. It's a back and forth in government. I agree of his needs. We must do something down there. But I'm concerned that Mr. Green, I don't know if his main desire here is, because it was asked last night, would these positions still be needed if they were union positions? And it was a very delayed answer. I think it's as important for him to get the union out of the courthouse as it is getting better staff. Right now, and to call these people supervision, right now, the current staff, I believe there's about 11 or 12 workers there. There's 6 supervision there. That means we have one supervisor for every 2 employees. Now, you can say, now if we bring it to the full, if we pass this, we'll have, I believe, if my numbers are right, about 21 advisors and 42 employees. If we brought the full contingent of employment, we would have 1 supervisor for 2 employees. I don't think who's gonna do the work? We need workers, not supervisors. So if these people are truly supervisors, I don't see how that's gonna fix our staffing issue of actual workers. I agree, we need to get the wages up. I agree, we need to do something. But I have a concern that Mr. Green's concern is about knocking the union out of the courthouse more so than staffing, or as equal as staffing. So I will not be supporting this. What I would like to see done, Mr. Heckman mentioned 3 different avenues we could go last night. I think, why don't we take let the arbitration carry itself out. Let's see where that ends up. It's only a month. We gave Mr. Green a month to make sure that the union wasn't, that he thought it was solid with this resolution against the union. I don't know why we wouldn't take another month or take another option, like give them the supervision, but don't take away the workers. I mean, because it doesn't really make sense to take away the work, the actual people doing the physical work and get more supervision. I don't know any job out there. I'm sure there is some real high-tech jobs out there, but I don't know any, actually, like up at when we were working on the turbine, because they would have 2 supervisors for 1 worker because the stuff is $1 million pieces and it could ruin it. So, but I don't know many jobs that you have 2 supervision for 1 worker. So I don't think this is the right way to go down. I question Mr. Green's motives. I think a big motive is getting the union out of his courthouse opposed to staffing it. So there's my 2 cents on it. Thank you.
Ms. Zirinsky?
Thank you. My concerns were circumventing the process of arbitration. Now that we have an arbitration date of June 29th, that was one of the reasons why I thought that we should honor that process of the union, not eliminate the union jobs, and not necessarily grant these 13 jobs, which would have to go in front of the union board. From what I understand, the Pennsylvania Labor Board would have to review them, and they would most likely be taking them back under the union. So that's another delay in the process, I believe, that's causing chaos in a situation. I understand and I feel that there is an urgency to have workers at the Juvenile Justice Center, especially for the courts to be able to have places for the juvenile cases to go. But I don't think that this is the right avenue to take, especially when the circumvention is, by process, creating these assistant supervisor positions to the end that there's more supervisors than actual workers that they're supervising. I think yesterday, when we were given the information that there would be 42 youth care workers left, that's 42 youth care worker positions available, but not all of those are filled right now. And I think that that was a little deceptive in the way that it was articulated. I feel that it would be in the best interests of everybody, including the council, the union, to table this. I know one of the three positions that Mr. Heckman did articulate last night.
Well, three possibilities.
Yeah, do what it says here, create the new positions, but not eliminate the old ones. Or, I know Mr. Spadoni also said create a memorandum of understanding. I think, given that we have this time between now and arbitration, it would be better for all parties to negotiate these salaries and come up with the positions and whatever level they're supposed to be, and maintain the union and not bust the union.
Mr. Galfredo,
Can I ask Mr. Green a question? Are we allowed to do that during this portion of time?
you, sir, certainly can. Mr. Green, would you come forward, please?
Mr. Green,
Counsel?
is it your understanding that if we pass this resolution today and the workers that get these new positions gets challenged by the union, that they'd be able to be working in the time frame while they're going through the deliberation or the process of deeming what classification they fall under? Would they be able to go to work right away?
That's my understanding, and then if the union or the administration wants to file a petition, then it would go to the labor board, they would review the job duties, and then they would make a decision.
Okay,
And it'd be clarified of where they belong, but it sounds like they are assuming that they belong right in the union, and I don't believe that.
and I don't think that's up for us to decide. I'll get back to that, and obviously this is kind of a redundant question, but I'm assuming if we pass this resolution, you're gonna be able to fulfill the duties of the Juvenile Justice Center much better, starting almost immediately.
Yes.
correct? Okay,
Yes.
that's all for me,
Okay.
Mr. Green, appreciate it.
Anything?
As far as,
Can I respond about being deceptive and everything else,
no.
and about the numbers?
No.
Because I wasn't deceptive at all yesterday.
Well,
Okay.
let's just stick to the questions that are asked.
Thank you.
It's a discussion of council. Go ahead, you have a question for
Wait,
Mr. Green?
He's still recognized.
John, JP still recognized.
I can hold the rest of my
No,
questions
no,
if you
go
wanna
ahead.
ask while he's there. No, I don't wanna make him get up and
Well,
sit
I
down, go
mean,
ahead.
I get concerned, and I don't like whenever we assume or, are you trying to bust the union over there?
No, I'm not trying to bust the union. I'm trying to find out solutions how to help this juvenile justice center, which I've been doing for the last almost 2 years. And I'm just trying to find solutions, and we need another level of supervision, and that's what we're asking for.
When you came and talked to us yesterday,
Yes, sir.
you, and this has happened before, you've said that you've tried to get together with the union folks and you have never been able to get a date. And now today, we've been told that the day after you came, on 6/29, there's gonna be.
That's news to me, and that's news to me,
Well, that's
and
news
I
to
haven't
me.
heard
I'm
from, I
asking.
haven't heard from anybody. The last time I heard, like I told this council yesterday, I heard from Jim Erdwin, it was last month, he said it was supposed to be the end of May, and, unbeknownst to me, I'm hearing it's the end of June now, so.
Yeah, I mean, I just, yeah, this always gets cloudy. This, I know you've been pushing to get this arbitrator for a long time. And now that you brought this forward to us, you're told that you're gonna get an arbitrator at the end of June. Would this be something that would be part of the arbitration?
I have no
'Cause
idea.
I read the letter you gave us, from the,
Right.
and the various things. I mean, whatever action we take tonight, the union is going to be able to They have the right, it's their opinion that these should be in bargaining unit positions.
And they have a right,
every
and they have a right to file the clarification. That's what I said. And then let the labor board decide, not me, or certainly not this council. I don't think that's in your purview. And not the administration. I mean, let the labor board decide.
Those are my only questions. Thank you.
Ms. Goffredo, are you done?
No, I'm gonna just.
All right, go ahead.
I think it's our responsibility, sitting on this council, to help solve problems. And I have seen Mr. Green come here since my first couple meetings here on council, so he's been coming for well over a year. To Mr. Lott's point that we've been only waiting another month, I think we've pushed this down the road pretty far. And he came up with a creative solution that is gonna help solve problems that he faces. It's gonna pay people more money for these positions, which, you know, I consider that to be one of the top priorities, or should be the top priorities of the union, that, in Mr. Green's opinion, is not doing their job. So we're trying to fill the gap until the labor board can then rule on these positions. I don't understand the issue with that. I didn't swear an oath to the union. I swore an oath to, you know, following the Home Rule Charter and the Constitution and making sure we do right by our taxpayers and the people that work here in this county. I kind of think we are not fulfilling our duty here. The Juvenile Justice Center is suffering. I think, you know, yeah, it might be a national issue, might be a state issue, but we have the opportunity to help in that issue right now and not use a scapegoat saying it's out of our control. It's in our control. This resolution puts it in our control. So I understand there are people that have affiliations and, you know, see the importance of unions. I see that too, but I also see the importance of that Juvenile Justice Center having the staff to take care of kids that are in their care. So I will be supporting it.
Ms. Hefner?
Just to clarify, the math is off, that it's 60 positions, 62 positions, I believe, because they're eliminating 20, it's full-time and part-time, so it's 15 and 5, and so it was 42 of one, and there's 20 of others. So, you know, it's a little fuzzy, but that notwithstanding, we spent a lot of time discussing this last night. My concern is never to bust the union. However, that's not our issue. We have the right to eliminate and create. If I had my druthers, I'd have you keep the 20 positions, fill the 20 positions, and create the supervisors. If it gets to a point that you get staffed well enough and we can get this thing rolling and you need to come back for 20 more positions, I'd be happy to vote yes for them. Union positions, I have no problem with that. But these positions have been not filled for, remind me how long?
18 to 24 months, at
18 to
least.
24 months of attrition on 20 positions.
And they're vacant. They're
So
vacant
if
positions.
creating 13 positions gets more bodies in there at a higher level of staffing, and again, I'm happy to put them back in, or I'm happy to consider an amendment of just creating, but I want to get you these people, and that's what I care about. And again, I don't know how long is this contract gone on?
What's that?
How long is this contract gone before, unfilled, unsigned? This union negotiation that's had to go to arbitration, how long?
Their
Year
contract,
plus?
yeah, their contract had ended, I believe, the last, December of last year.
So that's
Their
not a county
contract
council
ended.
issue either? It's not it's not my business. My business is to get you staff. So that's where I'm at. And if you can come back and you want 20 more people later, I'll give them to you. I want to
Thank
see
you.
this work.
Thank
And
you.
I want to see this happen. And I want, there are kids out there that aren't coming in, and we could take kids from other counties. We could make money and we could have this place functioning and filled, period.
Anybody else on this side? Mr. Lott, I saw you put your hand up again.
Yeah, the issue is, it is an attack on the union because they're eliminating, the problem is we got 2 to 1. We got 2 workers to 1 superintendent. And Ms. Hefner, I'm sorry, I was referring to full-time. I didn't throw the part-time in there. So that's why the numbers seemed a little, I was referring to full-time people. So we have 2 workers for 1 supervisor. Now, how is that going to help us down at the Juvenile Justice Center, what we need is actually workers to work with the kids. We don't need supervisors to supervisor. And that's why I think what you're doing is trying to bust the union, because what you're doing is trying to create supervisors that actually do the work. Otherwise, it wouldn't make sense. We don't need more supervisors. We have 2-to-1 right now. What we need is more workers. So by eliminating the actual people and putting that's why I think you're busting the union, because you're saying you need supervision, but you don't need supervision. You need workers. You
I
need
need
the actual
workers and
workers.
supervision.
So
I do.
you need more than,
So,
you need
Mr.
more
Lott?
than one superintendent to supervisor to 2 workers? You need more than that?
That's what the numbers would be right now, but if we were fully complemented, it wouldn't be 2-to-1. We have 5 different programs, okay? We have 6 supervisors. I want an assistant for each of them on 24-hour shifts. So it's not 2-to-1. You're wrong.
It is 2-to-1 right now, though.
It might be 2-to-1 right now, but if the union would get these salaries increased, we would be at a fuller complement. It wouldn't be
In
2-to-1.
full-time workers, you'd have 21 you'd have
42.
supervisors for 42 employees. I do the
No.
math, that's 2-to-1.
42, and then you have the part-timers too.
Okay.
Okay.
So the part-timers.
But, and you're entitled to your opinion, and I appreciate that. But let me ask you something, all right? You were the head of the Court and Corrections Committee for years, and you never had any interest in the juvenile center, but now you have such an interest in it. That's
Let's
weird
not
to
get
me.
personal.
You never did.
Let's not get personal.
Okay? You never did.
How do you
Gentlemen,
know?
gentlemen.
How do you know what my interests are?
Because you never came down to the center. You were the Court and Corrections Committee member, and you were the lead. You
Gentlemen.
never came down.
Gentlemen, we will not make this personal. It's about,
But he made it
it's
personal.
about the resolution. Let's keep it on the resolution. We're not going to go back and forth. Let's get this thing under
Mr.
control.
President, can I ask the county exec a question?
If you're done with.
Yes, I am.
As soon as, does anybody else have any questions for Mr. Green? While he's here?
thought I had the-
And then you can, then we'll get that. Mr. Rince, you have a question for Mr. Green?
I want to allow you to answer the question about how many youth care workers are.
Would you get closer to the mic, please?
Sorry. I want you to be able to answer the question, how many youth care workers are actually employed right now? Because I think that a lot of what we're saying.
16. 16 full-time,
16 youth care workers, full-time, are employed right now.
19, I'm sorry, 19. 19 full-time.
19 full-time youth care workers
Yes.
right now. And how many supervisors are currently employed?
5.
5 supervisors.
Yes.
And what you're asking to do is create 13 full-time assistant supervisors. So there would be 18 individuals in a supervisory capacity for
Yes.
19 people.
Right.
And you're saying
now.
that's what you need.
That's what I need. I need a higher level of supervision, and that's what we need right now. And then when we are at full complement.
And
we
how
would
would you
need-
define that assistant? Like, how is that assistant supervisor different in their roles and responsibilities than either the supervisor or the youth care workers?
They are very different. I outlined it in my memo, so you have that memo. I got that from Mr. Billman. I told you what their duties would be, so it is outlined in there. So I gave you the,
So right here where it
Very
says, as a first-level supervisory position, the assistant supervisor for the JJDC has distinguishable union rights for youth care workers in determining the union rights under the PRLB Act for public employee.
under
blah, blah,
that,
blah,
it
blah.
says their actual duties. And responsibilities.
I just want to make sure that we have these, including, okay, this is where it is. I guess,
And that would be the information for the labor board to decide if they are in the union or not. So they would look at that information.
I just don't think it's, I don't think it's clear how that's delineated or why these positions don't need to be maintained as union positions, these 13 positions. And that's why,
But that's just my opinion.
Sure.
And they have, and Ms. Carberly gave her position, all right? So
No, I
what
do
I said,
understand that.
and what I said was, let the labor board decide that. That's all I said.
Well-
And if they said these are union positions, then I would say, okay, then I accept that. If they say that, I don't believe they are. That's my opinion.
Okay, I'm just going to speak for myself. In my capacity as a commissioner, I've listened to your side, and I've read through the memos, and I've talked to Jim Irwin, and it does, on the surface, look like this is circumventing the process.
That's your
And I
opinion,
just-
and
it
I
is,
appreciate,
and it
and I
is my
appreciate your opinion. I
Yeah,
appreciate that, but that's not how I
why I
look
wanted to
at it.
clarify these jobs.
I understand.
It does look like there's more supervisors than there are people who are youth care workers. And so it's hard to put this together, why these wouldn't be union positions. And it seems like I know that you've been before us before, but it also seems like the reason is that it's not that we don't have enough room for our own Northampton County juveniles, but that the Juvenile Justice Center wants to make room to take on other counties.
That's not true. We
Okay.
need to be able to take our own children in and make sure they're safe.
Are we not
okay?
able to now?
We-
Are you telling me with
sometime-
these numbers we are
No,
not
we
able to?
are, but we have to mandate our employees numerous shifts, and they're going to get burned out. But if we had more bodies, we wouldn't have to mandate so much. And that's one of the chief complaints. If you talk to Jim Irwin, he will tell you, one of the chief complaints from the youth care workers is the mandations, the mandatory overtime.
Yes, and
That burns people out.
And I did talk to Jim Irwin, and I think he's very passionate about getting those workers the wages that they want and that they need.
I hope so.
And that
I do.
if you take these individuals out of the union and eliminate all these union employees, then that arbitration won't be meaningful. You have the opportunity to arbitrate on June 29th and begin the negotiating processes within the next month. This is why I thought tabling this would give us more time to honor the process
Right.
and do this in a way that wouldn't necessarily eliminate these union jobs, but would also allow you to negotiate for what you need, because I feel like that's what you've been asking for.
Can you understand my apprehension to that date? I understand it's the 29th, but I've been told 4 or 5 different dates in the years past that we are going to have an arbitration. So I'm not sure that's even going to happen.
I do understand that.
Okay, so
and-
I'm apprehensive about the whole thing, and I'm waiting 18, 17 months, and then I come yesterday, now all of a sudden we have an arbitration date. You know, I'm a little apprehensive, so I hope you understand that.
Well, I do think that you bringing this forward again and again.
Yeah.
And bringing this to our attention and keeping on this subject really helps initiate that. And I do hope that that date goes well.
Listen, and I hope this council understands, I've been very transparent when I come here. I tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly, okay? And I'm just being honest of what's going on. And I just want the best for this center.
Yeah, and I can
So-
respect, I definitely can respect that you are trying to find a solution to a
Right.
problem. And I don't want you to think that we don't want to
No,
find
but the
solutions.
question, my integrity and my ethics, that's just a little unacceptable to me, because I'm just very, very,
Let's
you
just
know.
keep it.
No, that's all.
Question.
Okay, I'm done.
You have,
You can vote.
you have a follow-up, Ms. Zirinsky?
No, I'm satisfied, thank you.
Mr. Heckman, I know you had your hand up.
Well, I don't mind Mr. Green come to all the meetings if he wants. I don't think he wants to come to all our meetings. But he's been here quite a few times with staffing issues. And the problem is, whenever you sit here, you're the sum of all your experiences. And one of my experiences has been to be a head of a very large department of the county. And I would come before the council for different things. And I would get frustrated at times because I felt I had part-time council members who were telling me how I should run the department and how I shouldn't run the department. And that was very frustrating at times to me. And, because, I have a responsibility. But at the same time, when it comes to your positions, where the administration and HR is, and the union, our charter is clear that we create or eliminate positions, and that's our box.
That's right.
What happens after that is really up to HR, you, at the courts, I'm just going to say the courts, and the union. And I mean, your opinion is that these are not union, and you said that, it's my opinion. The union certainly, I'm sure, would go and say, wait a minute, time out, we're going to challenge that, and they may win. So, I mean, you know, I don't want to, I guess I've been in that situation where I've been micromanaged sometimes about, and then, you know, why are you doing this or why are you doing that? I can't look into your soul. I mean, the idea that, you know, are you trying to do something nefarious? I don't know. Is anybody trying to do it? I mean, you're the man who's been charged with running this, and I'm assuming that the judges, if this thing doesn't work out well, we'll be talking to you because ultimately you're the top man over there.
I'm the face of the court.
Let's put it this way: the judges are the top people.
Yeah, they are.
You have to
That's
drop
right.
quite a bit.
That's right.
But I mean, you've gone over this plan with the judges?
Absolutely.
And
The
they're
administrative
supportive of it?
juvenile judge, yes, I have.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't want to get into a debate about, up here for me at least, on whether I'm doing something to bust the union or I'm doing something pro-union or pro-this. That's not what we do up here. We've been told, in fact, don't bring that up, don't talk about that. You know, we'll file it's worker confidential. And so I know that we're supposed to stay in our lane. And the administration has a lane, you have a lane, the union has a lane. And I'm happy to let you guys in your lane, and I'll stay in my lane. But I just want you to know I appreciate all the information you've supplied. I understand it's your responsibility at the end of the day. I also understand that the concerns some people may have. As an elected official, you got to put it all together and then make a decision. But whatever I decide, I'm certainly not trying to hurt anybody or any group. I'm trying to do what I think is in the best interest of the county. And if somebody has something they can show me that proves that something else is in the best interest of the county, I'd be happy to see it or hear it. Otherwise, it's just my opinion.
Thank you.
Everybody's been saying.
Mr. Brown.
Jermaine, thanks for being here.
Sir.
I appreciate the challenge that you're facing. It's a difficult group. How many children are not being served over the 18 months that you've been trying to get staffing in place? Would you estimate that we missed out?
Yeah, I can't give you an exact number, but I know we receive calls every day, you know, for services.
It's a safety issue and being able to take care of our youth, and that's really the
Yes.
primary focus of what you're here trying to do.
Yes, it's a safety issue throughout.
I think when, with staffing issues or any other kind of problems that you have in the departments, we do look for solutions. And I think after 17 months of not being able to be granted a solution, you've come forth with this. I appreciate my colleagues' concerns about the union bus, and that's always a balance within government and within Northampton County that we try to take. But I'm not concerned about the resolutions, and I'll be supporting the resolution as presented, because there is a pathway forward for the questions around whether it should be union or not. I actually think, I have a concern as you, that was my first thought, that I'm glad that the executive brought forth that there's a scheduled arbitration.
Right.
But yeah, that's a date, and they can be delayed and extended further and further, so we could easily be here in 9 months from now
Correct.
trying to do the same thing. I believe if we move forward with this as presented, it actually informs the arbitration. It actually gives guidance to the union, what you're looking for, what we agree to, and there's a pathway for disagreement to be resolved either within the arbitration or going to the labor board. So I believe that this is probably the proactive approach. After 17 months, I think you've earned the right to
Thank you.
say, go ahead. But to Mr. Heckman's point, you will be held accountable for the
Right.
performance. You know, there's the checks and balances in place to make sure
right.
that nothing is being done untransparently, and you've been very transparent as my colleagues have been with their concerns. So I believe we should support this, and I'll be supporting it as presented.
Does anyone else have any more questions for Mr. Green? Mr. Green, you're dismissed. I know at one point, someone asked for Mr. McClure. Mr. McClure, would you please come up so you can answer questions from council, please? And I'll hold my opinion until we're all done.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're more than welcome.
Mr. Griffredo, thank you. Mr. Griffredo brought up a very good, interesting point. And I think Mr. Green's answer was, I think so. But I think it's very critical to have an answer on this. You asked Mr. Green if he could hire these people immediately. I think that's important, whether you can or not. In your opinion, can he hire these people immediately?
Okay, so it's not a matter of opinion. But let me first say, I now understand, based on what has been written down in memorandum form by the Juvenile Justice Center's administration, what they are looking to do here. I understand that, and we are going to attempt to help them accomplish that. What you need to understand about state law, to answer your question now, state laws of general applicability trump the Home Rule Charter. That's the first thing that we all need to understand. And the Pennsylvania Labor Relations Act trumps the Home Rule Charter because it's a law of statewide applicability. And the Pennsylvania Labor Relations Act presumes that these positions that are being purported to be converted from union positions to non-union positions, you have to understand, the Act considers them to be union positions. So when the resolution is passed, the Pennsylvania Labor Relations Act still considers those positions to be covered by the bargaining unit. And so it's not the union that would need to go to the labor board to have those positions clarified. The county would actually have to file with the labor board to have those positions taken out of the bargaining unit without the bargaining unit's assent. So what I'm going to try and do, and we're going to begin this next week, is negotiate with the union to accomplish within the four corners of the CBA what the Juvenile Justice Center administration wants with respect to this supervisory level. Okay, that's what we're going to try and do. Our date, we have our June 29th date. We're going to keep that date. Unless AFSCME can't keep it, we're keeping it. We'll be there. We're going to get this arbitrated. These positions, I doubt very much, will be part of the arbitration. They will probably be resolved sometime after that, and that will probably be in the best interest of everyone. So irrespective of what happens with the resolution tonight, we understand what the administration at the Juvenile Justice Center thinks it needs to run the Juvenile Justice Center. We're going to try and accomplish that for them. We understand what the sense of county council is. We're going to try and accomplish that as well. I would suggest that these numbers out there sort of prejudice our negotiating position, but we'll work with that. It's unfortunate, but we'll work with that. And moving forward, we should be able to accomplish what they want. The positions will probably still be within the bargaining unit, and we'll be moving forward. Any questions? I needed to make sure that everybody understood what we were going to do.
No, that was good information. I appreciate it. I'm glad I called you up. Because we definitely need to for whatever reason, we can't hire, if it's money, if it's management, whatever, we need to get people in that facility. So,
Well, the arbitration award will take place. We'll negotiate these other positions, and we'll move forward.
All right, thanks for the info.
Anything else?
Anyone else have questions for the exec? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, we just went through a 20 minutes, half hour of discussion on something we discussed long and hard last night, too. Like I said, I left my opinion to the end. I find it extremely interesting that we're going to have an arbitration hearing 24 hours ago. We didn't know anything about it. And I respect that that's going to be done. I'm the last guy in the world that even thought I heard anything about union busting last night. If that was going to happen, I'd be fighting tooth and nail because I am a former union guy. What we have here is a unique situation that we've been battling with for over 17 to 18 months. And at some point, we got to put a foot down and get this thing going. I think that was expressed by many last night and again tonight. I didn't like that we got negative and we've gotten personal. We need to take personalities out of this and just deal with the facts, folks. That's what we got to do. I don't like when these meetings get ugly. It's not a good look for us at all. Not even a little bit. I think it's awfully important that we walk out of here with respect for each other, and I think at the end of the day, that's all we really need to do, is have respect for each other. In my opinion, and I don't, a lot of people say could care less about my opinion. I don't see this thing being a union busting job. If this gets a fire lit to get things done, I'm all for that. That's my opinion on this thing right now. You know what? I'm done. Let's just call for the vote. We're voting on the resolution because it was already defeated, correct?
Yeah, the table was.
Clarify.
We
The table.
No,
table was
voting
for
on the
this is
actual
defeated.
resolution.
Yeah, so we're voting to eliminate and create.
Is that what we're doing? We're voting on number 5. That's what I was going to ask. Okay. Go ahead, Ms.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
No.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lott.
No.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 7-2.
Consideration of amended fee schedule for the district attorney's office. Is there anybody here for that?
Yes, he's here. I have to introduce it.
Could you please come up to the podium, sir?
I have to introduce it. I have to introduce it.
Would you please introduce yourself? So,
I have to introduce it.
okay, I'm going to read the resolution. This one here for the fees, right? Mr. Heckman, would you please read the resolution, please?
Okay. Whereas Northampton County Resolution 17-79 provides that the fees charged by agencies and offices of Northampton County shall be set by Northampton County Council by means of a resolution at such times and at such rates as deemed necessary. And whereas on May 12th, 2023, a request from the district attorney was received seeking to implement a fee schedule under the Crime Victim Right to Access requests to take effect immediately and is attached hereto as Exhibit A. Now therefore, be it resolved that the attached fee schedule shall be implemented as of May 19th, 2023, and that any other fee schedule inconsistent herewith is hereby repealed insofar as the same affects the attached fee schedule. And you have the attached information, so that's it. So introduced.
Questions? I'm sorry. Questions?
I think,
Are these, if you go ahead, because I was going to ask one. Go ahead.
well, I just asked that somebody be here because I think there was just a question about, was this the state saying that we had to do this? Was this your office as a result of what the state did? Just a little background on what the fee increase is about and why. That's all.
Certainly. The Criminal History Information Act precludes any divulging of criminal information investigation to anybody other than law enforcement personnel, and that's been in existence for quite some time. The Crime Victims' Right to Access amendment to CHIRA has taken effect as of May 2nd this year, and that amends CHIRA to allow certain crime victims to gain access to certain types of criminal investigative work. The Right to Know Act, the fees that can be charged for that, is governed by state statute. The amendment to CHIRA, which I'm speaking about, provides that the law enforcement agencies can charge reasonable costs in complying with civil requests for criminal information. So to do so, we have to establish a fee schedule that would only apply to the district attorney's office. It does not apply to police departments. They are free to set their own schedules. So that's the basis of the fee request. The figures that are in there have been recommended to us by the Pennsylvania District Attorneys Association to try and stay uniform, at least insofar as southeastern Pennsylvania is concerned.
So the victims or their attorneys or the prosecutors of
It would be the victims or attorneys representing the victims in civil actions.
would be paying these fees?
That's correct.
Anybody else got questions of Mr. Pepper? Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Discussion from council? Let's call for a vote.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Consideration of a substantial amendment to the fiscal year 2020, 2021, 2022 Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan Resolution. Mrs. Zirinsky, would you please read that?
Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the County of Northampton that the substantial amendment for the fiscal year 2020, 2021, and 2022 annual action plans is hereby approved. Two, that it is cognizant of the conditions that are imposed in the undertaking and carrying out of community development activities with federal financial assistance. Three, that the county executive and the Department of the Community and Economic Development are authorized to execute and file the substantial amendment by the following projects. The amendment to the fiscal year 2020 annual action plan will eliminate the budget line item for project ID CD-20-24 Greater Shiloh Church development of housing staff for $45,000 in CDBG funds. This project will be deleted. The $45,000 in CDBG funds will be added to a new project, winter shelter kitchen repairs. The amendment of the fiscal year 2021 annual action plan will change the location from Hans Meadow Park to Surrey Glen Park under the Lower Nazareth Township ADA Accessibility Project for $50,000 in CDBG funds. The amendment to the fiscal year 2022 annual action plan will change the following. City of Easton Redevelopment Authority Housing Acquisition and Rehab Reduce Project budget of $175,000 by $75,000 to a new project budget of $100,000 in CDBG funds. City of Easton Redevelopment Authority Housing Demolition and Blight Reduce Project budget of $159,080 by $67,848 for a new project budget of $91,232 in CDBG funds. City of Easton Redevelopment Authority Housing Disposition Increase Project budget of $25,000 by $25,000 for a new project budget of $50,000 in CDBG funds. City of Easton DPW Road Reconstruction Reduce Project budget of $150,000 by $50,000 for a new project budget of $100,000 in CDBG funds. Create a new project, City of East End Vanderveer Park Open Space Project with $66,848 in CDBG funds. Create a new project, City of Easton Water Saving Hydrant Nozzles with $20,000 in CDBG funds. Create a new project, Third Street Alliance Pool to School Shelter Expansion with $45,000 in CDBG funds. Create a new project, LVCIL Place Program for individuals with disabilities with $10,000 in CDBG funds. Create a new project, Easton Area Neighborhood Center Case Managers with $16,000 in CDBG funds. Four, that the county executive is hereby authorized to provide assurances and/or certification as required by HUD and also provide any additional documents that may be requested. This was discussed at the Economic Development Committee meeting last 2 weeks ago.
Okay. And Mr. Barron explained to us last night that this is money they already have, that they're just reallocating to fix stuff, correct?
It's just a
Mr. Barron,
shuffle.
is that right?
It's budgeted, sir.
It's budget, it already budgeted, right?
Yeah, it's budgeted.
Okay.
This is just being
reshuffled.
That's
yeah.
all right.
Oh,
Yes.
awarded. Okay, great.
Okay. All right, any other discussion? Call for vote.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Consideration of amendment for America 250 PA Plan Commission Resolution. Ms. Varyu Hefner?
Whereas at the April 7, 2022 Northampton County Council meeting, County Council formed the America 250 PA Northampton County Commission, a non-voting working commission aimed at the celebration of America's 250th anniversary and Pennsylvania's role in the event. And whereas Northampton County Council has been informed of the picks of the county executive, which include representation from the administration, Northampton County Historical and Genealogical Society, Lafayette College, and Historic Bethlehem. And whereas the overwhelming breadth of America's history and influence has sprung from Northampton County, from our diverse population to our industrial history, to our involvement in America's history from Revolution to today, and to create equity among university groups represented on the commission, Northampton County Council felt a need to expand the membership of the commission to ensure the inclusion of a variety of members to match the mission statement of the America 250 and America 250 PA program, including representatives from Lehigh University, Moravian University, the Lenape Nation, and a military veteran. It is therefore hereby resolved by the Northampton County Council that Resolution Number 44-22 shall be amended as indicated hereafter, whereas Pennsylvania Legislature and the Governor created America 250 in 18 to plan, encourage, develop, and coordinate the commemoration of the 250th anniversary of the United States and Pennsylvania's integral role in that event and the role of its people in the nation's past, present, and future. Whereas America 250 PA hopes to engage all Pennsylvanians in all 67 counties through their many signatures and officially recognized programs, projects, and events over the next 5 years by inspiring future leaders and celebrating all Pennsylvanians' contributions to the nation over the last 250 years. And whereas by adoption of America 250 PA's 4 pillars of EPIC, we hope to educate, preserve, innovate, and celebrate. Now therefore it be resolved that the County of Northampton hereby endorses America 250 PA on their mission to educate, preserve, innovate, and celebrate every Pennsylvanian in every county. And be it further resolved that the County of Northampton officially establishes an America 250 PA Northampton County Commission made up of a diverse group of 7 citizens to work with America 250 PA. Oh, wait, that's incorrect. It should be 9. 9 citizens to work with America 250 PA on any and all activities within Northampton County. The participants of the Northampton County Commission will be strictly voluntary roles. There will be no compensation for participation, and 4 will be appointed by the county executive, and 5 will be appointed by the Northampton County Council, and that copy of this resolution be forwarded to America 250 PA Commission. So that needs to be amended to 9, because that was the whole point of doing this whole thing.
Sure was.
And I would have just read that if I knew that, but
It's okay.
But I think that the additions are really, that we have identified the people that we wanted to include. It was sort of vague, and now we've drilled it down to identify other partners. So do I have to make an amendment? Motion to amend the resolution from
second.
7 citizens to 9 in the last
Yeah,
paragraph.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
You gotta vote on the
Discussion now.
amendment.
Have to vote to amend it, right?
Yep. Agreed.
Anybody want, no discussion?
No, call the vote.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Motion passes by a vote of 9-0.
Now I need a motion on the amendment. No, you're done?
On the amended,
On the amended resolution? Okay.
yes.
Take your time, Linda.
I had a cup of coffee. I'm a little on the ball. Let's go.
Okay, Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Thank you.
Okay. Consideration of 2023 Livable Landscape Grant Program Recommendations, Resolutions, Reinhardt Park Improvements, Borough of Hellertown, Music Park Updates, Borough of Wilson, Municipal Park Playground Unit Rehabilitation, Bethlehem Township, Pool Replacement at Municipal Park, Hanover Township, Stormwater and Pickleball Court Updates, Lower Mount Bethel, Parks and Recreation Open Space, Moore Township, Bushkill Creek Plan, Palmer Township, Portland Mincy Trail Study, Upper Mount Bethel Township, Bushkill Creek Restoration, Palmer Township, Easton Trailhead Acquisition, City of Easton, Haddad Property Conservation Easement, Upper Mount Bethel Township, Nordstrom Property Conservation Easement, Upper Mount Bethel Township. Mr. Rinsky, these are yours. You can start with Reinhardt.
Sure are, and I just want to say that these were all discussed thoroughly at the Energy, Environment, and Land Use Committee, so I am just reading the now therefore be it resolved. Thank you very much, right?
We do them one at a time?
Sure are. Yep, they're
And then
all
we'll vote on
separate
them.
projects. So now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. One, the Northampton County Council hereby approves the Borough of Hellertown grant application for the Reinhardt's Park improvements. Further, the Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator, the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program, and the Division of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or a designee is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. Two, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $75,000 of OSI municipal park funds as the Northampton County contribution to the Reinhardt's Park improvements. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
Discussion? We discussed this earlier. Vote, please.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Brown. Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman. Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
All right.
Muser.
Moving on to Muser Park Pickleball and Tennis Courts. Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. One, the Northampton County Council hereby approves the Borough of Wilson grant application for the Muser Park Pickleball and Tennis Courts. For the Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator, the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or his designee, is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. Two, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $75,000 of OSI municipal park funds as the Northampton County contribution to the Muser Park Pickleball and Tennis Courts. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by the County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
Discussion?
No.
Call for the vote?
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown. Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Mr. Rinsky, Municipal Playground.
Yep. Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. The Northampton County Council hereby approves the Bethlehem Township grant application for the Municipal Park Playground Unit Rehabilitation. Further, the Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator, the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or his designee is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. Two, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $75,000 of OSI municipal funds as the Northampton County contribution to the Municipal Park Playground Unit Rehabilitation. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown. Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Mr. Rinsky, pool replacement.
Pool replacement in Hanover Township. Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. The Northampton County Council hereby approves the Hanover Township grant application for the Hanover Township BMPs at the pool complex. That's best management practices. Further, the Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator of the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or his designee, is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. 2, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $50,000 of OSI Municipal Parks funds as the Northampton County contribution to the Hanover Township BMPs at the pool complex. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by the County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
Discussion? Call for the vote, please.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown. Yes. Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Stormwater and pickleball.
Who doesn't love it? Yeah, now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. The Northampton County Council hereby approves the Lower Mount Bethel Township grant application for the stormwater improvement / tennis and pickleball project. Further, the Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator of the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or his designee is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. 2, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $35,161 of OSI Municipal Park funds at the Northampton County contribution to the stormwater improvement / tennis and pickleball project. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
Discussion? Call for vote.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Sorry. Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Parks and Recreation, Moore Township, please.
Yep. Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. The Northampton County Council hereby approves the Moore Township grant application for the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan. Further, Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator of the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or his designee, is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. 2, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $47,500 of livable landscape funds as Northampton County contribution to the Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Plan. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by the County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
Any further discussion? Call for a vote.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Bushkill Creek Plan, Ms. Zirinsky, Palmer Township.
Got it. Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. 1, the Northampton County Council hereby approves the Palmer Township grant application for the Bushkill Creek Greenway Parks and Trail Master Plan. Further, the Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator of the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or his designee, is authorized to take any and all necessary steps to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. 2, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $62,500 of livable landscape funds as the Northampton County contribution to the Bushkill Creek Greenway Parks and Trail Master Plan. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
No further discussion. Call for vote, please.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Portland Mincy Trail Study, Upper Mount Bethel, Ms. Zirinsky, please.
Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. 1, the Northampton County Council hereby approves the Upper Mount Bethel Township grant application for the Portland to Mincy Lake Trail feasibility study. Further, Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator of the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or his designee, is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. 2, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $25,000 of livable landscape funds as a Northampton County contribution to the Portland to Mincy Lake Trail feasibility study. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
Call for the vote.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Bushkill Creek Restoration.
Yep. Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council, one, the Northampton County Council hereby approves the Wildlands Conservancy grant application for the Bushkill Creek restoration at Binney and Smith Preserve. Further, the Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator of the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of the Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or his designee is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. Two, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $120,000 of livable landscape funds as a Northampton County contribution to the Bushkill Creek restoration at Binney and Smith Preserve. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
Call for the vote.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Absolutely.
Mr. Lot. Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Eastern Trailhead Acquisition, City of Easton, Ms. Zirinsky.
Got it. Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. One, the Northampton County Council hereby approves the Greater Easton Development Partnership Grant application for the Easton Trailhead Acquisition Project. Further, the Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator of the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or his designee, is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. The Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $187,500 of Act 13 Environmental Initiative funds at the Northampton County contribution to the Easton Trailhead Acquisition Project. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
Thank you. Vote. Call for the vote, please.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Aye.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Aye.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo
Just-
Hefner.
Aye.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
The Pirates have a.
Get it, we're just trying to mix it up now, right? Got it. Whew.
Had that property conservation easement
favorite
up in Mount
foreign
Bethel, Ms. Zirinsky, please.
We're doing it. Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. One, the Northampton County Council hereby approves the Upper Mount Bethel Township grant application for the Haddad Property Conservation Easement. Further, Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator of the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of Parks and Recreation and Development of Public Works, or his designee, is authorized to take any and all necessary steps to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. Two, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $75,600 of OSI, or environmentally sensitive funds, as the Northampton County contribution to the Haddad Property Conservation Easement. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated.
Call for the vote.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yay.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Aye.
Mr. Myers.
Sure.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Aye, aye.
Yeah,
Mr. Brown. Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
yeah.
Nordstrom Property Conservation Easement, Upper Mount Bethel.
Yeah.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Sure. Now therefore be it resolved by the Northampton County Council. One, the Northampton County Council hereby approves the Upper Mount Bethel Township grant application for the Nordstrom Property Conservation Easement. Further, the Northampton County Executive, through the Office of the Program Administrator of the Northampton County Livable Landscapes Grant Program in the Division of Parks and Recreation, Department of Public Works, or his designee, is authorized to take any and all steps necessary to administer and complete Northampton County's obligations in this project. Two, the Northampton County Council further authorizes the Northampton County Executive to appropriate $262,425 of OSI, environmentally sensitive funds, at the Northampton County contribution to the Nordstrom Property Conservation Easement. Should an amount be less than the sum approved by County Council, the remaining balance shall be placed back into the appropriate fund from which it was allocated. And I just want to say the speed with which we have approved all of these just goes to show the quality of the presentation that was given at the EELU. And I think we should also thank Sherry Acevedo and Brian Cope and all the members of ProSab and the communities that made the applications for their wonderful and diligent work to keep our parks, recreation, and open space program so robust.
Thank you.
Here, here.
Okay, that was well done. And now we got lots of pickle players.
We still have to vote on the last We still have to vote. Still need
Call
to
for the
vote.
vote. I'm still happy about the pickleball.
Can't let Nordstrom property
Ms.
not be
Zirinsky.
voted.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Absolutely.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Consideration of Administrative Code 13 contract with CCAP resolution. Mr. Heckman.
Okay. Whereas on May 10th, 2023, the Northampton County Council received a request from the county executive for county council to adopt a resolution approving a contract in the amount of $865,911 with the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania for property and liability insurance for the term effective June 1, 2023 through May 31st, 2024. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Northampton County Council does hereby concur with the recommendation of the county executive as set forth in the attached documentation to approve a contract with the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, CCAP. And you have the procurement notice is attached.
Any discussion? Call for the vote.
Mr. Heckman.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Yes.
Mr. Kuzic.
Yes.
Mr. Giovanni.
Yes.
Mr. Gofredo.
Yes.
Mr. Lot.
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
Ms. Fargo Hefner.
Yes.
Ms. Zirinsky.
Yes.
Adopted by a vote of 9-0.
Council committee reports.
I didn't have any business.
Well,
Ms. Zirinsky.
yeah, we had an EELU report, committee report presentation by Sherry Acevedo. We did vote on all 12 of those projects. That represents the 2023 grant funding total of $1,090,686, which is amazing. And then we also had a presentation by Kelly Saunders from the Sustainable Energy Fund about the amendments to the CPACE that Governor Shapiro created that expanded the program for resiliency and projects that encompass sustainability. Done.
Okay. Ms. Varga Hefner?
Oh, yeah.
Governance.
We had Personnel Committee yesterday, which was a robust discussion, and the fruits of our labors were voted on today. And today, we also had a Governance Committee meeting prior to this meeting, where we discussed the gift ban, and we also discussed possible items for referendum in the near future. And that's it.
Mr. Heckman.
Finance Committee met yesterday. The DA fee schedule was discussed, as well as the CDBG grants and the CCAP contract we just voted on. And that is that. Thank you.
Council liaison reports. Ms. Zirinsky.
So I did attend the ProSeb meeting, which is Parks, Recreation, Open Space, and, Recreation. That meeting was basically this presentation. So then we have the Karst Geology Advisory Council. I just want to report that Boozy has all of their pumps online, and that has been an interesting process. Their deepening permit has also been delayed, and it's been waiting for the response. So the next meeting, I think we're going to discuss that. I also attended the LVDC, and we had a very interesting presentation at the Ben Franklin Tech Center at Lehigh University on two different tech ventures was one presentation, and then the ideal semiconductors. And so this represents a lot of what's coming out from Congress from the CHIPS Act and trying to make a reinvestment in technology that is coming to the Lehigh Valley. It's very interesting because it has a lot to do with EVs, solar, and semiconductors. And then sustainability and broadening manufacturing in Northampton County. And we also had the executive committee for the LVPC today, and we, in addition to talking about Pliget and bank accounts and other investments that they're doing, we talked about the move to a new office and modernization that is going to take place, as well as the LVPC audit for 2022 that's going to be coming out in September, as well as the action item of trying to find a director of environmental planning recruitment, as well as several, Teresa Mackey is retiring, and she'll be retiring in September. David Jan, the economist, is moving back to Boston. He has found love. And so we will miss these two individuals, but there is a lot going on at the Planning Commission, you know? Yeah, apparently.
You said he found love?
That was part of the meeting. We discussed that he, he's been commuting back and forth, and he just can't keep doing it. He had to make a choice, the LVPC or the love of his life, and, it's like a rom-com.
Well, okay. Anybody else got a liaison report? Okay. Council Clerk?
Nothing.
Council Solicitor? Can I ask for a motion to adjourn? We ended at 8.
I can't
Who's the
even
second? Who's
believe
second?
it.
Mr. G.
Adjourn the meeting as the chairman. You don't need a motion.
Bye. We're out of here.